Today's Tech Tuesday is hosted by Robyn Rodriguez. So Robyn, take the floor.
All right, guys. So I just recently learned that I have not been utilizing showing time to its highest and best use, as Craig would say. The way I've always done it before was I always found the listings I wanted, and then I'd save them to or put them in a cart, and then I'd go to the cart, and then I'd look at them on the map, and then I'd go one by one to sort of start at maybe the most western or northern point, and then sort of create a map from there. And then what I was doing is I was texting my client these crazy long things that said morning plan, here's what we're gonna do, blah, blah, blah. I was doing that because when I sent her those texts, I had the full addresses in them, so she could just tap them. So it would automatically connect to her Maps app. So as we were going through property 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, she would be able to just tap the addresses and then immediately get directions from where we were. Seemed like it was working out, but I recently figured this out, so I'm digging this instead. So to start, when I have a client, the first thing I do is ask them to download HomeSpotter, specifically my version, and then the Showing Time app. And I'll explain why in a minute here. But from there, I put in my criteria and I selected my map area, or you can sort of get the listings however you want. And then I checked them on here. And then the next sort of biggest and most important thing is to go through the broker remarks and make sure that it's good for you to show the property. This one has no running toilets, not a big deal. House is rented to multiple tenants. So by strict appointments, agents must adhere, blah, blah, blah. And then even though Showing Time has the app here, this property doesn't seem like they want me to use Showing Time. They want you to call the listing office, which is fine. So I'm just gonna unselect this house and write a quick note. But then I've looked through all the different houses and everything looks good. So I'm gonna go down here to the bottom and hit select showing. Okay, so it looks just like normal when you open up Showing Time property to property. So then I'm going to go to add to showing cart. And then let's say I'm planning on doing my tour tomorrow. And I'm going to add one of my clients. Bam. So what this does is you can see that it opens up all the different properties. You can pick the tour date. And it has the order for you to go in. So you can zoom out on the map, and this to me doesn't make a ton of sense. So 1 and 2 are close enough to each other. That makes sense, but maybe we're gonna do 4 instead of 3. So I'm gonna just lift and drag that and it looks good. So appointment required, go and show. Appointment required doesn't mean you have to actually reach out to the listing agent. It just means that they have to confirm the appointment. And then it'll show you the appointment times, and then it'll show you the drive times between the properties. So if I look at the availability here, it looks like 5 a.m. to 12 are busy. That's fine. So I can sort of look through and be like, okay, it looks like I've got a pretty nice gap of time here, where if I started here and then go from property to property, there's not going to be any interference here. So I can select 12 to 12:30, and then we are 1 minute away, so I will try to do you can just click that and it'll show you all of them at once. We'll do 12:30 to 12:45, and then 9 minutes away. It's not going to have any traffic because there's no freeways or anything, so that looks good. And then I would just hit send requests. And then after you hit send requests, that's when your phone, if you have the settings set for it, your phone's going to send you that you've been approved for this one, you've been approved for the other go and show. And then when the other 2 get approved, you'll get notified either in the app or via text or via email. But what's cool with this is after you do that, up here at the top, there's this little email button, send tour details. You can email this to your client and it'll send them a link for the tour for Wednesday. And then if they have the Showing Time app, they can actually open it up in the app and then see the properties and what time you're going to be where. Obviously in Tacoma, like all of these are pretty close. My client could probably just follow my car around and be fine. But, you know, if you're looking somewhere like in Seattle where things are more spread out, or, you know, if they're looking in North Tacoma, UP and Browns Point, this is really helpful just because, you know, it includes the drive time in there. So if there is one that's like, this is 9 minutes, but if we have a half-hour showing, if we leave this a little early and here a little late, it's not a big deal. But yeah, that is everything.
That's
Really,
awesome. One tip I would have is I probably wouldn't schedule all four at the same time because well, this is just my opinion, because if you schedule all four at the same time and then hypothetically number 1 and number 3 are accepted and number 2 is not accepted, now you kind of have to change everything around. So what Robyn did there is like awesome, and that could work great. But if it doesn't, if like 2 says nope, you can't do it at that time, you have to do it later, it'd be nice to be able to say, oh, okay, well then I'll do 3 next and then 4 and then go back to 2. And then, but by that time it might be like, oh no, 3 and 4 were already accepted. Now I've got a 30-minute gap or a 15-minute gap where we just are twiddling our thumbs. Just a thought. So something to think about.
so I've done stuff like that too, where like, you know, my client, for example, this one, she's looking pretty exclusively in Tacoma. And so if we're doing Saturday showings, a lot of times people are really busy. So I just try to cluster your showings and then, you know, it kind of depends on the client, how much endurance they have. Isaac, what do you think? I think my client kind of taps out after 8 properties. That's when they all sort of look alike to her in her mind.
Yeah,
Um,
I really try to keep it 4 or less, honestly, unless you're going somewhere really far away, because I agree you could probably do more. But there's a few reasons. Number 1, I mean, we've all heard, you know, business psychology where they talk about options are good, too many options are bad. You go into Starbucks, you can get tall, medium, or large, you know, tall, grande, or venti. Now they have more, that's a bad example. But in general, you go somewhere and you can get small, medium, large. If they start saying small, medium, large, extra, extra large, extra small, you start to like overthink things. And so anyways, I've seen buyers see 8 homes. I've shown them homes and they decide to not make a move on any of them because they're like, they just get too overwhelmed. So I like doing 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, you know, and then say they want to see 8 this weekend. Well, what are your 4 favorites? Okay, let's see those on Saturday because I don't have enough time. You know, use that excuse to say, well, okay, I only have, you know, between 2 and 4. So let's check out these 4. And then we'll see if we want to check out the rest the next day. Okay, perfect. So we go on Saturday and we see those 4 homes. They're probably going to really like 1, maybe even 2, and you can write offers on those and skip showing the other ones. So that's not me being lazy or me being like not wanting to work hard for my clients. I've just seen it happen more times than not. If I show 4 homes or 8 homes, they're more likely to pull the trigger on the home and make a decision on 4 homes than they are on 8, even though they saw more homes. That's just been my experience.
They start comparing one to the other. Like,
Yep.
you know, let's say they really liked number 1, number 2 was like, nope, doesn't suit us. They liked number 3 and they liked number 4. You know, if you have 4 other houses to meddle in there, they're going to start weighing the pros and cons of 1 versus 3, of 1 versus 4. And then all of a sudden you just have a lot of thumb twiddling. So unless they have, like, for example, my client, she has super strong opinions about houses. So it's okay for me to show her 8 because she's going to know instinctively of those 8 which ones she wants to write an offer on or not. We've done some weekends where I show her 12 homes and it's too much and we write nothing. And I've had some weekends where I show her 6 homes and we write 3 offers. So
I completely agree. The good news is this isn't really a problem because there's a total of 5 homes listed on the market currently.
also, what I've found is, like, you know, this is the way I book showings now. And so let's say this appointment doesn't get approved. I'll be like, she doesn't live in Tacoma. She lives in Seattle, and I want her to feel super excited about living here. So I took her to Burger Soul, and we went to Bluebeard Coffee Company one weekend, and we went to Valhalla another. So I don't know. I like spending time with my clients and making them feel smitten. So if like this appointment's not approved and you've got a lot of time to get here, you could take them like down and across and through Old Tacoma and then loop back through Ruston to like sort of romanticize the area and give them sort of like that fun spirit of Tacoma and kill time.
Yep.
But I'm an overthinker, so.
Yeah, I'm a little more just get her done, but that's just me.
All right, guys. That's honestly it. It's super easy. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about anything we just went over?
I'll say one more thing. You said it at the beginning, but just want to make sure people don't gloss over this because it's really, really important. Most listings, probably 4 out of 5, do say go ahead and schedule on showing time. There are some listings that still say, some of them obviously say no showings until mutual acceptance, or 2-day notice needed, or anything like that. So do make sure you're reading the broker remarks. Also, there are some that say no showing time, call the phone to show, or schedule the phone to show. So it wouldn't work exactly like that if it had to be done that way. So just make sure, as Robyn said at the beginning, I know you already said this, Robyn, but you go, as you find, the 4 homes that you're going to show, just really quickly make sure they all say showing time, showing time, showing time, showing time. And if not, write a note saying, okay, this one, we'll see where it maps out and where I want it to be, but then I'm going to have to text them because you could be waiting hours before you realize that one isn't going to be approved on showing time because showing time wasn't even set up. So just something to think about there. Also, another really important thing, when I go through to show homes, I look on the broker remarks and I write notes if it says something about an alarm or something, because it's really easy to be like, oh, there's an alarm. Okay, perfect. I'll worry about that when I get there, and then forget about that one. And then you go in and all of a sudden you start hearing the beep, 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 and you're like, oh my gosh. And you have to pull up your phone and be like, oh, dang, I have bad signal. And so anyways, check the broker remarks really thoroughly. Also make sure if it says something about pets, don't let the cat out. That ahead of time. So I'm not
also, sorry. Also make sure to update your super key before you leave your house or wherever you have good Wi-Fi, because that's going to suck if you get to a property and then you can't access it. And then also, I think in showing time, Isaac, don't they tell you the access details for the property? Like usually that's where an agent will input an alarm code.
Sometimes they don't have to, though. A lot of times they'll just lazily put it on broker remarks. So yeah, I'm just saying, just be aware of it and be prepared. I've had both those things happen with just one time, and that's all I needed. But yeah, there was one time I went into a home that I had scheduled like 2 days before and totally forgot there was an alarm. It starts beeping. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I start pulling up my phone. I had poor signal. I had signal, but poor signal. So by the time it loaded, it was already sirening. And I was like, oh my gosh, totally embarrassing. And totally 100% my bad. Like nobody to blame there except for myself. So yeah, just check it ahead of time. And then Robyn's totally right. I've also done that one just one time, never again, where I was showing homes out in Roy. And the first home I got to, I didn't have signal, and my app needed to be updated. So I literally had to drive 10 minutes away, just like driving like this, like signal, oh, stop, pull over, and then update the app, wait for it to update because I had poor signal at that point, then drive back where my buyers were waiting. Oh, and now I'm way behind on my showings. It's brutal. It totally sucks and totally avoidable too. So just think about that. Yeah, don't let it happen to you because it really sucks.
If you are going to use the lavatory in someone's house that is on the market, make sure to flush the toilet before you use it.
What?
I have seen make sure the property is not winterized. I see agents sometimes like turn on the faucet and then turn it off and be like, that's good. If they didn't empty all the water of the pipes and then winterize the property, there might still be some water in the pipes. That doesn't mean the toilet's going to flush. So be wary.
That's when
I had an agent like 10 years ago. She was pregnant at a showing and she's like, please help me. She was pretty embarrassed. It was hilarious.
That's pretty funny, actually.
All right, guys. Any questions or anything? Everybody good?
Thanks, Robyn. That was good. Nice and sweet.
All right. Let me know if you guys need anything. Rachel's been working really hard on helping me get everyone's marketing organized, thankfully. So everyone will have a few different flyers to choose from: sold posts, new listing posts, review posts, feature cards, broker price opinion. Everyone will have those ready to go very soon.
Oh, and also tomorrow is Andrew Meyer's birthday, so be sure to send him a really obnoxiously flattering text, because he hates being acknowledged for his birthday, and so I want to make sure we all heavily acknowledge it.
I'm gonna send you so many birthday puns.
Oh man, there's gonna be so many messages. Your phone's just gonna be blowing up, Andrew.
I'm actually coming into the office to get ready for Andrew's birthday tomorrow morning before he gets there.
That's not a
Oh no, guys. Oh no.
I'm so excited.
Andrew was like saying yesterday to me, he says, I don't really like making a big deal on my birthday. I'm like, it's your birthday. That doesn't mean it's about you, okay? It's about everybody else.
I'm just kind of grateful that I'm gonna be out of town for my birthday. So.
Oh, belated is definitely a thing, Rachel.
Yeah, I don't know if you've met me, Rachel, but I don't think you get to not celebrate your birthday.
She won't let you.
Isaac's tried. But you know what? I never make Isaac open presents in front of me or anything.
Yeah, I really don't like that. I won't open a present in front of people.
You look like one of those dogs when people give it a bone. Like you want to go take it into another room and eat it. Like you get embarrassed about eating it in front
Bury
of
it and come back for it later.
Yeah, pretty much. That sounds about right. On that note, thank you everybody for joining. If you have any questions about showing homes, also if you're a newer agent who hasn't had a lot of experience showing homes, something Robyn did when she first got her license, I thought was a really good idea. She just showed her fiance homes, and she showed me a couple homes and said, is this how you would do it? And I can't really speak for you, Robyn, but I'm sure that was really helpful. I kind of did something similar in the sense that when I got in the business, I wasn't actually licensed, and so I'd just come with Craig on a bunch of showings. And it was so helpful because I got to see how he would communicate with the client, how he would, just little nuances where you're like, well, you just open the door, right? Well, it's a little more than that. And if you don't know, if it's your first one, you're doing it with a client and you're like, God, what do I do? Do I follow them? Sometimes it's nice to do it with an experienced agent. So if you ever want to show homes to me, I can give you some pointers and I'd be happy to go on a home tour. And also don't be afraid to tour homes, even if you don't have a buyer. It's not, contrary to popular belief, it's not against the rules. Out of courtesy, if I want to tour some homes, I try to pick the ones that are vacant so as not to disrupt the family who is, trying to sell their home. But if there's vacant homes, schedule on showing time and check them out. Follow the MLS rules, but you can totally do that. And it's really helpful, especially if you have a listing area, to go into vacant listings around the area. And then you can go to the seller and say, yeah, I viewed this home, and this home. They're comparable in this ways. So anyways, there's a lot of cool things that can come from touring homes, even when you don't have a buyer. So
I've learned so many things about homes where I've been like, this looks different, but I don't know what it means. And then I'll take a picture and then I'll send it to Isaac or Craig or Devin. And that's how I'm learning more about old houses all the time, because Tacoma's got 100 years of weirdness in these walls. There's weirdos in these hills. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a